Vinny, obviously massive gap between now and the draw with Luton, 19 days in fact. Has that been a good thing for you, a bad thing? What have you been doing with the time?
I thought you were going to say massive gap between us and the team above us. It was like a great way to start the press conference. But no, gap between the last game I've never experienced it before. So I have to say it was something that I wanted to treat as a positive. The players have had the chance to reset a little bit and definitely I hope recharge what they need to be their batteries for what's to come the next 17 games and hopefully will benefit from this period.
What's to come in the next 4 games as well, because obviously you've got City, Fulham, Liverpool and Arsenal.
Yeah, you've got to play them sometime, right? So in which order, I don't think we think about it, we're too fussed about it. The main thing for us is to try and get results. We've been close in these games. It's never been one-sided, but obviously now going into the final stages of the season, it's important for us to try and get those games to try and get the results over the line.
Obviously, you've had a couple of games against City since you've been manager here. What have you learned, do you feel, from those 2 games?
I think you learn from every game. Now, obviously, they're a great side. They've got top players, top manager. So the combination of that makes them always very difficult to play against. But I try and look at it this way. This is not many times you get the opportunity to play against what is currently maybe the best team in the world, and whatever they bring, we have to try and make a game out of it and try and show our best side in that game. That's the ambition.
Do you see a relentlessness about City? Again, we've seen that in the second half of the season before. 5 straight wins, all competitions after coming back from the Club World Cup.
Yeah, I think it's been like this for the past 6 or 7 years. It's the way the club is, and I don't really foresee that changing in the future. I think it's still there. I think it's going to remain. But I'd like to think, and this is the way I try and approach it, I'd like to think that obviously winning is the side that everybody sees, but I'd like to think that you can have this in your culture, you can have this in the building. I wouldn't like to think that there's any less relentlessness with anything we're doing. We don't have the same outcome at the moment, but there's something to always aspire to, and if you have that kind of culture and attitude, then eventually good things will happen.
It looks like Erling Haaland could be back for them as well. I mean, he's been out since the 6th of December, so in some ways maybe typical of the look in some ways because of obviously the quality that he brings. But how do you go about dealing with what City have to throw at you, that relentlessness that we speak about?
No, I look, we can throw names and the list goes on, right? So the biggest thing for me is, what is it? It's a Premier League game. So we've just got to go there. There's nobody's gonna ever doubt the quality that they have. Man City, they're a phenomenal team. But I know that you can't start those games defeated, even though the rest of the world will maybe start this. Rightly so, we'll have an idea that this is what the outcome will be. But from our side, no, we're going there with every desire to get the most out of this game. We have to.
You've had the experience of going back. How easy or otherwise is it for you to treat it as just another game?
It's always going to be a special game, but I'm focused on my job. I really am, and my job takes too much of my days for me to not treat it in that way. With every desire to get a result for Burnley. It's I put too much time into it to look at it any different on the day.
How are you looking squad-wise, Vinny? Obviously, last time out, Taylor, Bayer, Berger, Ramsey, Delcroix were all absent. Are they back?
We'll see. But I'd like to give you. You've just mentioned you've blasted out a list like this. I'm not gonna. You made it easy for me to say. Well, we'll see tomorrow. I think there'll be some positive news in there. The list can't be longer than that. And the biggest thing is going to be the team, obviously, on the day.
Just aside from the game, how confident about adding to the squad before the deadline?
It's a good question. It depends on the hour, you ask me. No, seriously, it's like there's moving pieces. I'm not going to deny it, and recruitment team is putting in a shift, so try and see if we can make the team stronger. I think there's still a few calls coming in for some of our players as well. So we'll see. I have been focused on the game against City now, but I get the information at the end of the day.
I'll throw a couple of names at you. Esteve, Montpellier, centre half.
Yeah, all I can say is he's not our player at the moment.
But obvious interest, the kind of quality that you want to bring in.
Yeah, I think we're past the point where I can deny that there's been interest, right? So you've got probably the best sources out there. But the point is, he's not our player, and until then, I can't say much more.
Roman S at Millwall as well. I mean, in terms of another attacking option, given the injuries you've got, I mean, is that again a player that you're looking at, or?
I know the player is a good player, but we haven't been active on that one, so I can be really honest.
You mentioned that other clubs could possibly come in for your players. Connor Roberts, Manuel Benson, obviously been linked with moves away. Anything happening as regards that, or would you, in an ideal world, keep the group that you've got together?
No, look, I'm definitely not against keeping the group together, because they're all lads that I've come to know and that I've done everything that I've asked them to do as well. So there's not even a thought on my part that these guys have to go. The only thing is, some players, and it's easy for you to look at the list of players who haven't played as much, they have the desire to play, and we have to respect that as well. But look, from my side, there's the only thing I want is a group for the next 17 games that wants to go really hard and just focus on the one and only thing that matters now, and that is keeping this club in the Premier League.
Thanks, Vinny. LP?
Hi, morning.
Hi there.
Everyone knows what a difficult place it is to go, obviously, and how good they are. So how do you instill belief in your players going into this game?
But, I mean, if I would have asked my players, and some of the players who signed and joined us, some of the players who were there last year in the Championship, why do you want to go into the Premier League? It's because you get to play those games. You get to see what you can do against the best players in the world, and guess what? It's gonna be tough, but every now and then someone does something, and that's the mindset you need to have. The only guarantee you have is that if you go defeated, you will be defeated, and look, it doesn't happen at the first try, the second try, but eventually these things happen. So you have to keep the consistency of your belief in there.
Since we last spoke as well in the press conference, obviously Jurgen Klopp announced he's going to be stepping down. Pep has said that he's staying on, but I wonder if you can just give us an idea of just how taxing and all-consuming the job is of a Premier League manager.
No, I'm too young to have any complaints about it, so I'm fine at the moment. Bring on another 20 years.
Is it still weird, though, for you to be the opposition manager at a stadium where you walk past a statue of yourself on the way in?
Yeah. The bus goes around the other way, so I won't get to see it, and that's better for me. Do you know what? There's a big. And I've said this a few times in press conferences before this game. For me, I don't know if that's a good thing, but I don't look back nearly at all on my achievements as a player. I'm only focused on my what I have to do as a coach. I am where I am right now. That's also my level. So I'm not talking about anything other than trying to get better. And the career I have, although I have plenty of energy, it's all consuming. So that's a fair statement. So you don't get a lot of time to think back, look back, and so there is something there that is very special, that I fully recognize. But there's also a part of my life that doesn't give me the time to think about it too much. I'm gonna meet a lot of people that I'm fond of, though. That's true, and that I, for most of the season, always want to do well. But I get an opportunity to compete against them, and that's also what we enjoy in the game. It's not necessarily about you know, just the negative side of it, just competing against each other. That it also has a very, very positive side to that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Stu. Radio Lancashire.
Hello, Vinny.
Hello.
I just want to ask you about David Fofana. Obviously, you're only January signing. What are his best assets, and is he ready to go?
No, he's a striker that's able to link, run in behind, strong, really strong physical attributes, and you know, his goal scoring record was good, and then he went into like a top 5 league in the Bundesliga where he built some experience, I would say, and I think he's a player that can help us. You know, we're gonna need players like him towards you know, in the second part of the season, and you know, he's ready to go.
How will he affect the way you play? Do you have to adapt to his abilities?
No, he's come to help us, and we had very clear conversation before he joined us, and we're excited to have him, but it's more him strengthening us, him, you know, helping us.
Has he got the right character as well for the challenge that you face in the next few months?
We'll find out, but I believe he has, otherwise he wouldn't be here.
How beneficial was that loan spell at Union Berlin in Germany for him?
Yeah, I think these moments, it's a top 5 league, so these moments are crucial, and whatever it may bring, you know, sometimes it's tough times, sometimes it's good times, but I do believe you're making steps, and I think his ambition is to be a Premier League player, and he gets a chance at doing that.
Just on City, I know you've been asked already about Erling Haaland's potential return. Kevin De Bruyne could start a game in the Premier League for the first time since the opening weekend. How does that affect the way you play or you approach the match?
But like, this is what I mean, it's a pointless discussion, right? Because then we start mentioning Bernardo Silva, then we start mentioning Phil Foden, and before you know it, we'll talk about the kid who won the World Cup up front. It is what it is. They're good players. All of them are good players, and look, there'll be a moment to acknowledge it, and there'll be a moment where we just have to go and face them and compete and try and take it for what it is, which is an opportunity for us. And look, we're there to go about our business as well. We need points, and that's the only thing that concerns us. That's the only thing we'll try and do.
Thanks, Vinny. Wish you all the best.
Thanks, Adam. Burnley Express.
Hi, Vinny.
Hi there.
We saw Nathan Redmond has had an operation. What happened there? And is that likely to be him now for the season?
Yeah, freak incident in training, and it's really unlucky for him mostly, but also for us. But freak incident, and you know, luckily the doctors have told us he'll recover fully. But yeah, surgery and season over.
And we've also seen that the partnership with Dundee. What benefits will that bring to you, the first team, and the club as a whole?
I don't know. I think this happens at either ownership level, and the main thing for me is we've got some young players there like Michael Mellon, who's done well and scored a goal, had a couple of assists straight away. Owen Dodge and Darragh Costello were building up time at a good level, and that for us, for their development, of course, it's important. But I think that's the side of it that I probably focus on. Yeah.
We've also seen Obafemi and Chernoff head out on loan. What was the thinking sending them out for the rest of the season?
Game time. Had conversations with the players. Players want to play, and I respect that. And yeah, you know, we hope they'll do well. We hope they'll continue to develop, and then in pre-season they should be with us.
Thank you, Matt. Phil, are you happy at the back? We move on. Great stuff. Let's move on to the embargo now, please. 10:30 this